Well, buckle up.
Back in the old time machine.
13th century. Texture, taste.
Very fishy.
Preservatives.
Cornish pasties.
Oh my god, I've never even thought of that. The themes of empire, mission, inheritance, and destiny.
Hello and welcome back to What the Food. This is the podcast that uncovers the origin story of dishes, food items and drinks from all around the world. Old, new, popular and the obscure. My name is Miles Dickinson. As always, I'm here with my best friends, Andy Cantor and Dom Gray. And
Wow.
it's our...
Second names. Love that.
Well, we always do
Very
first names.
formal.
And I just thought, let's throw the second in there.
Yeah, do you want my address as well? Just fucking...
Yeah,
All
just
that.
help the stalkers out.
Do you want my PIN number for my bank account and my mum's maiden name?
All the controversial stuff that we say on there. Just any of the haters will find it well easy to find us now. Cheers for that one, Miles Dickinson.
Oh, well, it's our mission to delve into the deep, dark depths of history to uncover why we eat the food that we eat. Today, we're covering the origin of ketchup.
Proper saucy one today.
Little saucy
Ooh,
devil.
bit of a tangy one.
It's one of them things, isn't it? It's just there. Like,
Just always has been, always will be.
how many times have you been round to someone's house and you've been in a position where ketchup has been needed and you've asked them and they said, I don't have any? Never. Could probably count it on one hand.
It's
Pretty universal.
And if they haven't got it, you can just knock on next door neighbour. They've got loads of it.
Nope.
I don't know that I'd ever do that. Maybe. Sounds a bit odd, but maybe.
What's the process there, Miles? Are you asking for the bottle or are you taking round next door the item in which you want the sauce on? What's your
Just
tactic?
asking for a squirt. Could I have a squirt, please?
Tactics to take
Or a
around
bit
my
twist.
favourite ramekin, which is usually a glass goo pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what I'm all about. I don't
got
think I've
one
ever
plumber.
asked a neighbour for ketchup before because I've always had it in.
I don't know. You seem like you're talking like a man who siphoned ketchup before.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're speaking from experience. I would have never thought of the ramekin little trick. That's
neither.
a veteran. That's a veteran ketchup
Yeah.
snatcher.
I'd have probably asked him to put it in my hand before I got a ramekin.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In the palm of my hand, please.
Oh, God.
All right, well, here's a little debate for you. Are you keeping your ketchup in the fridge or are you keeping it in the cupboard?
I'm keeping it in the fridge.
Mine's in the fridge.
I just don't want the germs to grow. I want my ketchup to last longer.
I think if it was unopened, I'd maybe keep it in the cupboard.
Oh, yeah. No, unopened. I mean, it's not in the fridge in the supermarkets, is it?
Just correct.
Just sitting there.
Before we get stuck in, I just want to do like a little quiz with you two, if that's all right. Little ketchup quiz.
That's always all right with me.
Question number 1.
Ooh.
How much revenue in dollars has ketchup generated worldwide in 2023 to date?
4.9 trillion.
Fucking hell, Dom. Trillion.
Heinz aren't going to space.
Yeah, but there's like Aldi's own. There's all the brands of it. We're not just it's not Heinz Monopoly anymore, boys. Just remember that.
That's a mad bit of marketing there that Miles immediately thought
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Heinz.
All right.
So
you
we're just saying
little sheep.
ketchup in general.
Ketchup. Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah, you
okay.
little sheep. Should have let you guess before I gave you that clarification.
So what did you go for, Dom? You went in the
No, I'm not
trillions.
telling you.
Yeah, he said 3 trillion.
I'm going to say it's a $1.5 billion industry.
Okay. Miles, you are the closest because 3 trillion is a
Obviously.
mad guess.
I said 4.9, so...
It's 35.47 billion.
Whoa.
Oh,
A lot of ketchup, that, isn't it?
It's a big number, but
Very
I
big
thought we were
number.
getting trilly.
So I'll give the point to Miles for that one. So Miles is in the lead
Oh,
currently, 1-0.
whatever.
Question number 2. How much ketchup does a average UK Mackey's go through per year in tonnes?
Okay, well, I'm going to beat Milo here because I've got the inside line on this. So I'm going to picture my deliveries. They're coming in big cardboard boxes. I'm saying 450 million tons.
Is this based...
No, that's wild, actually. That's actually wild. That's more than 1 million tons a day. Okay, no, I withdraw. I'm going to go for 27 million tons.
Oh, bro, what the fuck? Million tonnes? That's so much.
Dom. I thought you were going to get close based on, you having worked for the establishment before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, actually, I think we should have let Miles guess first this time, because the thing is, like, I set the bar last time with trillion being silly.
That is silly. Did you say in a 12-month period?
On average per year, correct.
Okay. I'm going to say...
Okay, so just to put it into reference, right?
Whoa, I didn't get this.
Well, no, you've not guessed it. An
reference.
African elephant weighs 6 tons.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say 150,000 tons.
Okay. I'm going to say that's Loserville guess. I'm going to say 151,000 tons of ketchup.
You're both not getting a point there because you're both shit, right?
Why? No, I'm closest.
It's 10,000 tons.
Oh.
So I
So
won.
Miles is closest.
Yeah, neither of us get a point. Neither of us get a point because we were both 450 million. I
Yeah.
went for to
Yeah,
start
it's
with.
wild.
Wow, okay.
Lots a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do 4,848 tons of bulk ketchup. So that's
Yeah.
like your burgers, your squirt guns, all that sort of stuff. And 4,940 tons of packaged ketchup. So that's your dip pots and your sachets. This is from the official McDonald's UK website. I got these statistics.
Okay.
Bloody hell.
Okay.
So there's no point in doing question number 3 because Miles won. So
No, point. Neither of us got a point. Excuse me, I'm playing for the draw. Bring it back.
I dropped a huge bottle of ketchup on my foot once. Caused a severe pain to my toes. Tomatoes.
Toes.
Tomatoes.
Ketchup
Tomatoes.
Tomato.
Tomatoes.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. God. We can edit that out.
Yeah,
we can edit that out.
Definitely. But he's going to edit it, so he's definitely not going to edit it out.
Yeah, no, he's gonna edit a laugh from somewhere else in the episode.
Yeah.
Crowd laughter.
If anything, it'll end up in like the theme song. We'll have to listen to it every fucking episode we release.
Tomatoes.
So it took you boys a while to get that, to be fair. It might have been in my poor delivery, to be fair.
Yeah. No, I want to play for the draw though, please, Quizmaster. Making you stand by, then neither of us get points.
Okay, question 3. How many pounds of ketchup do Americans on average consume each year?
Considering that our information is out there, our names are out there, I'm not going to make a joke about the weight of Americans. I'm going to throw it over to Miles to guess first because he needed to guess first on the last one as well.
£75.
74 pounds.
He's done it. He's beaten you. It's 71 pounds. You little snake.
Well,
One all.
that was a good guess from me,
Okay,
though.
It was a very
well
good
played.
guess. Well played, Miles. Yeah, very good.
Well
guess.
played, Miles. We'll call it a draw.
So 71 pounds is about 32 kilograms. Just FYI for the British listeners.
A lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of ketchup.
Where are
a lot of ketchup.
Where are they putting it all?
And those big juicy thighs.
Anyway, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? We all had a giggle there.
We did.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the thick world of ketchup. Squeeze out some history, shall we?
Ooh.
Before we get carried away with the mad kind of history of ketchup, let's just dissect this little bad boy, shall we? You know, it's a very ubiquitous product, ketchup, I feel. But have we ever had to actually kind of taken a step back and looked at what ketchup is, the ins and outs of it, texture, taste, all that sort of stuff? So taste-wise, bit of a curious mix, I'd say. Sweet, yet tangy, with a bit of a smidgen of salt.
Tang is kind of the forefront, isn't it? It's very tangy sauce.
Very
And
tangy. I think-
vinegary.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of often with meat and fried food, isn't it? Because it's that vinegariness that cuts through the richness of meat and fried food.
Yeah.
Why?
Here's a question for you. How many times have you been caught out by that initial watery betrayal when you don't shake it?
Oh, don't. That's upset me.
It
Why
can
have you
ruin a
brought
day,
that
that.
up? Because that's just got sadness written all over it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if that gets on your food.
Like bit ketchup pre-cum. Not nice, is it?
I was waiting for that word. I was trying to avoid it, but I knew it was coming.
Bit of ketchup. Ketchup.
Ketchup. That's foul.
That is foul. Well, no, ketchup comes when you've actually got the proper stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're all putting ketchup over everything.
Yeah.
We're ketchup all over the place. We're ketchup on our fucking hot dogs. We're ketchup on our burgers. I'm ketchup on grandma's food and all.
Whoa.
She's not got the wrist for it anymore. She needs a hand.
Yeah, I'll ketchup all over her.
God. Boys, come on now. Get it together.
God.
Get it together.
Silliness.
Silliness. Very silly. I mean, on the texture
Silly
front,
billies.
when you're not battling that kind of initial liquid ambush, It's mostly smooth, viscous. You could say maybe viscous.
Yeah, it's got a thickness to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Give it a sniff. There's a certain kind of freshness to it, maybe.
No.
A viscous freshness.
No.
You never sniff your ketchup gum? Not bad.
I've never sniffed ketchup and thought, "Oh, fresh."
It's not fresh.
No, I think you need to work on your verbiage.
No, it's a certain
fresh.
Yeah, it's like tomatoes. It's like tomatoes.
It
like
smells
vinegar.
of tomatoes.
The smell of a tomato is fresh.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
vinegar is a natural preservative, is it not?
It's a classic scent. Come on, like a
It's a
summer
classic
barbecue.
It's a classic scent. Yeah,
Classic
I just
scent.
don't think it's a fresh scent.
It's a classic fresh scent.
No, I'm taking. I'm taking
You're not getting
umbrage
fucking
with the
Airwick special edition ketchup flavour
Yeah.
plugins.
Ketchcum.
Fresh ketchup. Colour wise, obviously that signature red that we all know and love. Kind of a bit of an unsung hero, I think, of making food look better. I feel like it does quite a good job of making food look very aesthetically pleasing, I'd feel.
Yeah.
You'd think that red, because it's the colour of blood, you'd maybe be a bit more hesitant to smother your food in this fresh sauce. But
It's that vibrant red, isn't it? It's that kind of pop colour that kind of
kicking.
makes dishes look good.
Fresh.
Good.
Yeah, so I think that gives us a pretty... I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to suck eggs. Everyone's hopefully heard of ketchup.
Sorry.
But
Yeah.
now that we've got a good grip on it, let's venture and see how it came to be, shall we? Pretty wild ride. Trust me, I wasn't expecting to go as far back as I did.
Buckle the fuck up.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Buckle up. About to swerve into the left lane of history. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Screw.
So, yeah, I mean, when you think of ketchup, probably think of tomatoes, right?
I do.
Yeah, definitely.
It's called tomato ketchup.
Well, no, we're
God's
talking
sake.
about ketchup. Yeah, we're not talking about tomato ketchup. Yeah, I mean, you probably think of tomatoes, but here's a kicker, mate. OG ketchup, zilch to do with tomatoes.
What?
Nothing. So let's
That
rewind.
can't be right.
Let's rewind the clock all the way back to ancient Southeast Asia.
Back in the old time machine again.
Back in... The term ketchup likely comes from the Hokkien Chinese word ketchup, spelled
Ketchup.
Ketsiap. Ketchup.
Okay.
Ketchup.
Ketchup is a kind of fermented fish sauce.
Okay.
Where you get your tang from.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, like a fish sauce. Imagine smothering chips in a nice little fish sauce.
Oh, yeah, some nice sardines that have been left out in the sun to reduce down into a nice oil.
Yeah,
Just
a bit
smother
dippage.
that.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't dip, I'd smother.
But, you know, the mission of a good condiment is to cut through the current dish you're eating with it. You know, it's to go with something. So fish is that ingredient that gives the power to the sauce in a lot of cases. That's going to cut through that.
No, yeah, you're right.
What is it? Anchovies are in Worcester sauce, aren't they? That's kind of the key ingredient of Worcester
yeah,
sauce.
exactly.
Bloody hell, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, and this is very similar. This ketchup, it's very similar to kind of like your modern day Worcestershire sauce, or even soy sauce, like a bit of a darker soy sauce.
Yeah.
And like I've kind of put together a bit of a method of how they'd make this ketchup in Southeast Asia. It involves like the fermentation of fish, often with salt, sometimes other ingredients. But in terms of like a general idea, here's how they would make it. So you grab a small fish, probably more than one.
Just any fish you can get your hands on.
Just any small
Grab
fish,
a fish.
typically.
Yeah.
Yeah, just grab one. You want it small because you want it to break down easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cleaned, but typically left whole, so you're not doing any chopping business.
You leaving the guts in?
Leaving everything in.
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know if I like ketchup anymore.
No.
This is like Schmiegel sauce.
Yeah.
Schmiegel's favourite sauce.
Oh, yeah, it's literally that means it's going to have poo in.
Yeah.
Well,
Is what it means.
yeah.
Unless they're squeezing the fish to kind of make it poo before they...
It's not a thing, Dom.
Is it like you could just grab it by its head and like toothpaste?
It's not a toothpaste tube, lad. No.
No.
They probably do gut them. It makes sense to gut them. But
Yeah.
they're left whole, like eyes and scales and all that shit intact.
Oh, I don't mind a little eye. In there.
Yeah, exactly. The fish are then heavily salted, and the salt acted as kind of not only as a preservative, but also kind of played a key role in like the fermentation process. You then do some layering. So like you're making a tiramisu, but instead of sponge fingers and mascarpone, you're using fish and salt. So you've layered the fish, you leave it out in the sun for several months.
Okay.
Right.
The fish ferments.
Months.
Yeah, months. And it breaks down into a slurry.
Great word.
After the fermentation was complete, the liquid is then pressed and drained off. This liquid is essentially the fish sauce. It's kind of like a clear amber liquid with a strong fishy aroma. funnily enough, and a kind of a deeply salty, like umami taste. You can refine it a bit further if you want to. If you want to go kind of all artisan with it, you can boil it down and continue to refine it to concentrate the flavors, produce kind of a bit of a clearer product, or you can just eat it ready to go. So that's like a basic ketchup. And the basic one is obviously just fish and salt, but you can also get ones or variations of ones that have like soybeans, some grains, some spices, kind of things like that to either assist the flavor or assist the fermentation as well. Yeah. So, I mean, this sauce was like prize. It's like, you know, its ability to add like depth and umami to kind of any dish was prized, obviously.
So kind of sprinkling it over things and just having it alongside. Yeah,
exactly. Or stirring it through things to like enhance and bring out the flavors of the dish. Kind of like how you'd use fish sauce now, really.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, with anything kind of during the ancient times, this kind of fishy brew made its way along all the trade routes, getting a few makeovers along the way. So Southeast Asia, you've obviously got Indonesia, where it became Ketchup. Malaysia, where it became Kikap. And
UK, where it became Kit Kat.
You still got it. You still got it.
Oh, God, he's turned up tonight, isn't he?
He's back.
Yeah, and basically every place that it landed essentially took on new characteristics. Dash of this, sprinkle of that. Everyone kind of wanted to get in on the Ketchup game. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any of these super early references to it. The earliest references I could find were from like European explorers who found it. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just Southeast Asian kind of sources haven't been translated or they're not online.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why, you know, because it's just kind of, there's no set way to do it. Everyone's got their own kind of local ingredients that end up going in there.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's also a ball ache to make. Someone isn't going off and making this by themselves for themselves. They'll go off and make it for the village, town, to sell, to give to family, whatever. Because it takes like
a big batch
several
of it.
months. Yeah, exactly. You're not making like a single serving of ketchup. But yeah, so our kind of understanding of these historical food products comes from either linguistic traces, archaeological evidence, or kind of indirect historical accounts. So the European travellers and kind of merchants who encountered these sauces during the 17th and 18th century wrote about them. The sauce first appeared in 1690 in a book called A New Dictionary of Terms Ancient and Modern of the Canting Crew.
That's a mouthful of a book.
No.
Cool name for a book though. A New Dictionary of the Terms Ancient and Modern of the Canting Crew. I'm guessing the Canting Crew were like some European travellers or merchants, so we're just cutting about the place.
Learning all these new words and writing them down, bringing them back.
I feel like if we were a canting crew, it's almost a canter crew. That's pretty cool. That could be us boys, just dotting about in 1690, just cutting into Southeast Asia.
Tasting new foods and writing down words that we learn.
The fuck's this red sauce?
The fuck is this red sauce? It's very fishy.
Very fishy.
But yeah, so that's a book in 1690 in which ketchup is described as High East India sauce.
Ooh.
High East India sauce.
Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? High East India sauce. Kind of cool. Personally prefer it. Imagine calling your ketchup High East India sauce. Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. So that's in 1690. Later on in 1711, the first known mention of ketchup appears, actual ketchup, the word, appears in print in the British merchant Charles Lockyer's An Account of the Trade in India, in which he wrote that the best ketchup can be found in Tonquin, which is present-day Tonkin in northern Vietnam.
Whoa. Typical of British people to just like ignore the pronunciation of something and just change it to make it easier for us to say it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
We just can't be bothered putting the effort into saying something with the accent it's supposed to be said in.
Bad behaviour, innit?
I'll just change it completely.
Because you're saying there that in that previous book in the 1600s, it was still its old name, wasn't it? And then you jump to the 1700s and it's this British guy's just calling it ketchup. Lazy man.
Taking the piss.
Lazy boy.
Yeah. Lazy boys. So yeah, when catsup made its way from Southeast Asia over to England in the 18th century with kind of all these merchants and travellers bringing it back, it underwent, as most things do, a culinary makeover that was both kind of inventive and distinctively British. So the essence of the sauce's kind of transformation is best described as a shift from its fishy origin to the earthy flavours of the English countryside.
Wow.
So here's how that transformation occurred. So the term ketchup or catsup is a very common word for it. Catsup, C-A-T-S-U-P.
I was going to say, I feel like I even see that nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people do call it that.
I'm sure I've seen it on my travels.
No?
Was it ketchup manis or whatever it's called? Ketchup manis? Have you heard of that? It's like a Thai, tomatoey, ketchupy sauce.
I can't say I have, mate.
No, I've heard of it, mate.
Yeah. Look out for it. It's usually in like the Asian section of the supermarket. Like a dark, almost like a dark oyster sauce that you can use to flavour sauces and stuff. But I think it's called like Ketchup something.
Ketchup.
So it's kind of reminding me. Might be
Interesting. Related.
something to do with this.
But yeah, I mean, in England, the name of the sauce was kind of either ketchup, modern way, or catsup, spelled that way. And kind of the recipe was moulded to fit local tastes and ingredients. The fish was largely ditched, and new main ingredients emerged, such as mushrooms, walnuts, and oysters.
Mushrooms.
Ooh.
Mushrooms. Yeah, so
Walnut.
essentially, you're after anything that's like umami, really, to replace fermented fish. Because the idea of Britain's fermenting fish is not high up there, I don't think.
Yeah, not great.
No.
And obviously we have a plethora of mushrooms in this country, so finding a new way to use a big bulk of leftover mushrooms and consolidate those down into a nice, like you said, umami rich sauce.
Yeah, and it's very much, big fans of mushrooms, aren't we? Lots of mushrooms everywhere. And mushroom ketchup became the most popular. You know, England with its damp climate is a haven for wild mushrooms, both psychedelic and non-psychedelic.
Are you telling me that there's some ancient recipes for mushroom ketchup that could get us absolutely schlonkoed?
I would say so. Yeah, probably
Wow.
out there. Yeah.
Proper killer hot dog.
Yeah, some peasant farmers in Tunbridge Wells have probably come up with a lovely, trippy
Lovely condiment.
Yeah.
Tunbridge Wells. Christ.
Tunbridge trippy ketchup. Come on down.
Trippy ketchup.
Tunbridge trippy ketchup.
If it
Trippy
ever
chop.
trippy chop.
Tunbridge trippy
Tunbridge
chop.
trippy chop.
Come get your Tunbridge trippy chop.
Tunbridge trippy chop.
Tunbridge trippy chop.
Trippy chop.
If it ever becomes legal like it is in Amsterdam, we're starting a ketchup business and we're making psychedelic ketchup called Trippy Trup.
Yeah, everybody just forget that you've just heard this little brainstorm and we're doing it, not you.
We'll get the business plan made and we'll get it over to HSBC immediately. We'll
Forget about it.
Forget about it. But yeah, when we come to make our Trippy Trup, you essentially have to take the mushrooms, salt them, crush them down, leave them to ferment for several days. And again, you're left with a lovely slurry. And what you do with that lovely slurry is you cook it with seasonings like cloves, ginger, and sometimes even a bit of port wine if you're feeling if you're feeling fruity.
Go on.
After cooking it, you give it a good old strain and you're left with a dark, flavour-packed liquid that was mushroom ketchup.
Wow.
Ketchup.
Bloody hell.
Mad.
Can you get mushroom ketchup today anywhere? It's not something that you see often.
I've never seen it, but you probably can. There'll be some artisan somewhere trying to convince people that it's better than tomato ketchup.
Like artisan might be generous as a word to describe this. Weirdo might be more apt. I don't know that I'd be impressed. Yeah, I wouldn't be impressed if you came up to me and you said, here's some of my mushroom ketchup. I'd say get a life.
Okay. Would you be more impressed? Here's some of my mushroom ketchup, which I've grown from mushrooms from my mushroom farm.
I would still say use them for other things because you're barking up the wrong tree here, love.
Well, we're talking about fermented, though, as well. I'm all down for a mushroom sauce, a creamy, truffly, delicious mushroom sauce. But
a fresh sauce, if you will.
A fresh sauce. We're talking here about concentrated, fermented, slurried, gooey, concentrated sauce. Not sure.
Yeah.
But not going to knock it till I try it.
We need to work the word slurry into the title of this episode. It just it's key.
It is key.
By the mid 18th century, ketchup has firmly established itself in the footing in English culinary circles. As Justin Cord Hayes points out, the term ketchup has become synonymous with any kind of spiced sauce you can find accompanying your meal. And kind of England's flourishing trade with its kind of far-flung colonies meant that spices like cinnamon, mustard seeds, nutmeg, cayenne pepper were kind of never too far for the cook's grasp. And essentially they were adding all of these different spices to the ketchup, kind of give
it's
it
starting to get a bit fancy.
Bit fancy, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Starting to get a bit out of hand even.
Yeah, because it's just a blank canvas, really. Bit of a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Bit out of hand.
We're getting out of hand. Can everybody stop making bloody ketchup?
Fucking hell,
Everywhere we go. But I mean, with English cuisine, you know, and especially English cuisine in the past, people say it's a bland cuisine, and it might have been blander in history. So people were obviously relishing at the idea of making a sauce that, you know, can improve the blandness of the typically British cuisine.
Yeah, no, definitely. And this was like the age of seasoning, because, you know, all these
far-flung
places were delivering mad spices that we'd never seen before, and we were testing different things out.
Yeah.
And ketchup was just the poster child for it, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you have
And
it.
you can put as little or as much as you want of it on your current dish. So if it's a new ingredient that's come from overseas that you've never had before, you don't have to commit fully to it, you know, sort of bake it into the entire dish. You can create a sauce with it and have a couple of little dabs and see if you like saffron flavoured tarragon sauce.
Tarragon.
Tarragon ketchup. Very nice. And yeah, the culinary chronicles of the time bear witness to ketchup's soaring fame.
Ooh.
Yeah, so take, for instance, Eliza Smith's 1758 magnum opus, The Complete Housewife. In The Complete Housewife, she features a pioneering recipe for English ketchup, spelled Katchup. Far from the tomatoey blend, which we kind of douse our chips in nowadays, this concoction was a medley of anchovies, cloves, ginger, and pepper designed to pep up fish sauces and meat dishes alike.
Ooh, okay.
This is the recipe as follows.
Take a wide-mouthed bottle, put therein a pint of the best white vinegar, then put in 10 or 12 cloves of eschalot, peeled and just bruised, then take a quarter of a pint of the best lagoon white wine, boil it a little, and put it to 12 or 14 anchovies, washed and shred, and dissolve them in the wine. And when cold, put them in the bottle, then take a quarter of a pint more of white wine, and put it in a mace, ginger sliced, a few cloves, a spoonful of whole pepper just bruised. Let them boil a little. When they're cold, slice in almost a whole nutmeg and some lemon peel, a little pudding, and likewise. Put in 3 spoonfuls of horseradish, then stop it close, and for a week shake it once or twice a day. Then use it. 'Tis good to put into fish sauce or any savoury dish of meat. You can add it to the clear liquor that comes from mushrooms.
That was amazing. Dialed in for that. Wow.
Yeah, I was there. I was with her.
Eliza's on one with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of bruised shit going in that sauce.
She's bruising all sorts.
She's beating it up. She's giving it a hard
12
time.
Eschalots peeled and just bruised. A whole spoonful of pepper just bruised. And she's also using a lot of wine. Like,
it's a bit of a boozy one.
She is a bit of a boozy one. She's
No wonder she
at this,
enjoys
Eliza
it
Smith.
so much.
Right.
Yeah.
But it seems fairly straightforward, doesn't it? You're just adding loads of shit to a pan and boiling it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems a lot better than the 7-month
Fish and salt
fish, write it down sort of job.
No,
slurrying. There was a distinct lack of slurry there, though.
Although Eliza Smith has written this book, you know, The Complete Housewife, and I would have to say, if, you know, living back then, if Eliza was my wife and I'd come home from a difficult day working in the firehouse.
Working the firehouse.
I'd be a bit pissed off if she'd been faffing around with loads of wine and fishes in the house.
Well, what if it was tasty, mate?
Making a bit of mess
pissed off
with all that crap.
You're sounding rather misogynistic right now, Miles.
Making a lot of mess with all that crap.
Making all that crap.
You up a lovely sauce.
Expressing herself from no point at all.
Yeah. Wasting energy. I'm out there saving lives.
She's not allowed to work. She's like... Society's, you know, not allowing her to have the same rights as men, and I don't even want her to be able to express herself in the kitchen either.
No.
There you go. There you have it.
Put down.
Just remember, full name Miles Dickinson.
Yeah, I kind of regret saying that. I think she should be able to experiment with her wine and her echelons as much as she wants to.
No, it's all right. We're going to move on.
It's on record. We all heard it.
Move on quick.
You're going to be in a slurry of trouble there, mate.
And it's fast. That's the title of the episode. Ketchup, a slurry of trouble.
Yeah, that's it.
Write it down.
Spot on. Slurry of trouble. Yeah, brilliant. Cool. So let's flash forward to the 1800s, and essentially homemade ketchups were all the rage, probably thanks to women expressing themselves up and down the country. No thanks to Miles. But yeah, a spectrum of flavours grace the dining room tables. You know, you got zesty lemon, robust walnut, and yeah, all sorts essentially. And you also have another influential book that comes around this time, I think 1861. You've got Mrs. Beeton's Book of Household Management.
Oh,
Yeah.
bit shorter than the last one, which I appreciate.
Shorter, bit snappier.
Yeah.
Of household management.
Of household management, and it contains things.
Eliza could have done with that. Sorry, carry on.
Absolutely trouble.
Yeah, it's a good book. I managed to find it on Google Books. Obviously didn't buy it. And it catalogues an array of ketchups, placing special emphasis on the likes of oyster and the mushroom variants. So I wanted to highlight how you make an oyster ketchup, just because we've not had that yet. So this is Mrs. Beeton's oyster ketchup recipe.
Procure the oysters very fresh and open sufficient to fill a pint measure. Save the liquor and scald the oysters in it with the sherry. Strain the oysters and put them in a mortar with the salt, cayenne and mace. Pound the whole until reduced to a pulp. Then add it to the liquor in which they were scalded. Boil it again for 5 minutes and skim well. Rub the whole through a sieve, and when cold, bottle and cork closely. The corks should be sealed.
Doesn't sound like
Okay.
that one, does it?
No, that one sounds a bit more chaotic. I have to say, Mrs. Beeston might be Mr. Beeston.
Yeah.
Judging by her
Why
voice.
she shouldn't get a voice, but
She was a baseline, sick baseline.
yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't take on Mrs. Beeson.
Oh, it's all right. Probably because she's a woman.
Yeah, because she'd fucking manage you out the household, that's why.
She would. So what's she saying there then? She's preparing the oysters and she's kind of scalding them. So like getting a bit of caramelization on them. I'm guessing she's like kind of frying them to get a bit of flavour in there. Then she's kind of almost like deglazing with sherry. And then she's straining the oysters. She's putting them in a mortar and pestle with salt and cayenne pepper, pounding the shit out of these fried oysters into a pulp. Then she's adding some more liquor, just liquor, whatever.
No, the liquor from the first bit. Look, save the liquor.
Oh, save the liquor. Yeah, she's saving that liquid. So you add that liquid back in, boil it again for 5 minutes and skim well. Get rid of the phlegm on the top, and then sieve the whole lot and put it into a bottle and cork it. Wow, that's sounding really, really dutty.
And then down it in one.
The amount of work that goes into what we just consider like a bit of ketchup,
Condiment.
just a bit of a throwaway thing, isn't it? Like I just do a little bit of a squirt on there, don't even think about it. There's a bit of work that goes into that. Bit of work.
Big bit of work. Big bit of work.
Big old bit of work. Big old bit of work.
I think like as we take this kind of journey from, ancient kind of Southeast Asia to kind of English kitchens, it's clear that kind of while the core of ketchup, it's a flavour enhancer, has remained consistent. Like the ingredients kind of dance to like the local taste and availability of ingredients. They kind of like switched it up, whether it's kind of fish, mushrooms, or tomatoes. Ketchup has always been about like elevating the dishes it accompanies. Yeah, so I thought it was pretty interesting. But,
always the bridesmaid, never the bride, you might say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never going to have a bowl of ketchup, are you?
Now anyway, hold on to your lids, boys. Shit's about to get real. Tomatoes have arrived.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Mighty tomato. A fruit or is it a veg?
It's a fruit, isn't it? It's got seeds,
fruit,
lad.
yeah.
It's got seeds.
It's a fruit.
Come on.
But yeah, I mean, the tomato, I think we've covered this in pizza episode, but the tomato took a very long time to be fully embraced by European cuisine.
Yeah, it's a bit
A lot of people
isn't
thought
it
they were
part of like a poisonous family?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something?
They thought for a long time, didn't they, that they were poisonous?
Looks it, to be fair. Bright red, slimy on the inside.
No, you're right.
You know?
Yeah, so although the tomato originated in the Americas, it took a rather kind of long-ass route to become a staple in Europe. It took a very long and
detour.
windy journey. Yeah, exactly. A really good way to, or a really good kind of quote that we've got to summarize this is from Andrew F. Smith in his book, The Tomato in America.
Knowledge of the tomato came to England by way of Spain in the mid-16th century. By the mid-18th century, it was cultivated by some gardeners in England for its fruit, which was, however, eaten only by those who were adventurous. It was still a rare garden plant regarded as an ornamental curiosity in the rest of Europe.
Cheers, Andy. Yeah, it was
I
really...
didn't know that Alan from last week from the Cornish Pasty Association was going to come and speak, but cheers for coming down, Alan.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so some people were still just having it kind of like as an ornamental thing in their garden that just kind of looked interesting. Not everyone was kind of...
It's quite an iconic plant, isn't it? A tomato plant. They look quite cool, you know?
Yeah, very cool. And like at the time, it fucking, if you saw it for the first time, it would absolutely blow your mind, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you could show that one off.
But yeah, people didn't want to eat it. They thought it was poisonous due to its relation to the deadly nightshade family.
That's it.
Yeah, they were viewed with suspicion, if not terror.
Well,
they were even nicknamed poison apples.
But then I don't understand why they kind of built this massive reputation of being poisonous, because surely just like as soon as someone eats one, they're just going to be like, guys, stop it, it's fine. Tastes really good.
Yeah, but then you know what they'd say. He's a witch.
Yeah, you're a devil.
Nobody wanted to risk it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's why they didn't do it.
Yeah, peer pressure was pretty intense about them.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And that's fair. Fair.
People were sheep. They went with the crowd because they want to die.
That's before information kind of passed along in the same way it does nowadays. Like people were told that it was poisonous, and you just kind of believed it and didn't take the risk, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you couldn't just Google it.
Yeah, no, you couldn't. Well, that was kind of very much the case until an American horticulturist and scientist by the name of James Mees came into play. Now, James Mees is first credited with penning the first tomato ketchup recipe in 1812. Obviously, there was loads of other people that kind of did work on tomatoes specifically, but with this being a ketchup recipe, we're just going to focus on Mr. James Mees. And his recipe bypassed the fish and fungi of the yesteryears, instead embracing the acidic goodness of tomatoes. Yeah, as noted by Andrew Smith back in his book. So not only has Andrew Smith wrote a book called The Tomato in America, he's also wrote a follow-up book called Pure Ketchup.
Oh, now there's the title.
He's such a niche scholar.
Well, niche. But he loves it. He just loves it. And this is what Andrew Smith had to say.
Mees' recipe had the rich red colour, viscosity and acidic bite that modern ketchup consumers would find familiar.
Exactly. So we're getting to it, you know?
Oh, so Mees' when he says Mees' recipe, it's that guy's recipe.
James Mees, exactly, yeah.
James Mees. Okay, so yeah, he's saying that guy's recipe had the rich red colour and viscosity and acidic bite that modern ketchup consumers would find familiar.
Yeah,
exactly right.
This is the good stuff now. None of this mushroom, none of this fishiness.
None of this slurry nonsense.
Yeah, none of that. Did they have to make a modern slurry when they're making normal ketchup, or was that out the window?
Probably.
I think that's a bit out the window now.
Okay.
Well, maybe it would be a slurry based on like the shit that they put in it, preservatives and stuff. Maybe
it's a modern slurry.
But yeah, I mean, hundreds of tomato ketchup recipes would follow, kind of James Mees's. An 1817 recipe incorporated both tomatoes and anchovies. It's kind of a bit of a homage to the roots of a fish sauce.
Yeah.
And then came along a bloke called Henry J. Hines.
I know that one.
Yeah, as Miles kind of showed earlier, or alluded to earlier, synonymous with ketchup today.
Brainwash.
My mind went straight to it, didn't it?
No, you're right. And even Nancy Heinonen, who wrote an article for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, said that Heinz didn't invent ketchup, he just perfected it.
Oh.
She's not wrong.
So Mr. Heinz is now on the scene. He's well and truly on the scene. So in 1876, he and L. Clarence Noble introduced their tomato ketchup to the market using a recipe that reduced the need for preservatives. Heinz's ketchup won hearts with its pure tomato taste and lack of harmful additives.
Oh, so maybe we're giving him grief for now.
Giving him grief for now, boys. You
slurry no more.
Straight away.
Hey,
no?
well,
And this is in America.
This is in America, yeah. So like before kind of Heinz came along with his recipes and before kind of proper food regulation, ketchup manufacturers just used like fucking harmful as shit chemicals as preservatives. So they'd use like sodium benzenate was a common one, which obviously
doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound good at all. Some would use, like to achieve like the desired thickness, would use either too many tomatoes or they'd use fillers like pumpkin, apple, or there was even some reports of chalk being being used to improve
God.
thickness.
What?
Come on.
Oh my God.
You can't be getting
Yes.
that.
Can't
It's
be
not great.
chalk in sauce. I was going to say about the Heinz name, because it does, it doesn't sound like an American name. It kind of, with the Z, feels like it's quite Germanic.
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't know if
say
his heritage is
a little bit
over
of
this way. I don't know.
immigrant.
Well, I mean, they all are over there, aren't they?
Well, yeah, that is it. That's it. There's not many real Americans.
Not
They
left.
Did a
But-
number on them, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But I think Heinz himself was born in America. His dad, who was also called, so it's Henry J. Heinz, and I think the J stands for John Heinz, and his dad was called John Henry Heinz, which is pretty jokes. And his mum was called Anna Margaretha Schmidt, also a jokes name.
Schmidt.
Schmidt. And I think they were also born in America, and it was Heinz's grandfather who was German. So
Got
they are from Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
We love
A
that.
place called like Palatine in Germany.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. They are German.
Yeah.
They have
Crowds.
it.
There we
A lot
go.
of them. Yeah, so they're essentially using some horrible shit in their ketchup. And again, back to Mr. Andrew Smith in his book Pure Ketchup Notes.
Many ketchups were adulterated with harmful ingredients. Sodium benzoate, in particular, was widely used preservative that the US government later determined to be potentially harmful.
You know, if it's potentially harmful, it was very harmful.
It's-
Because they wouldn't
it's very,
admit that
very
it's potentially harmful unless it really could do some damage, I would say.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right, so they're just putting loads of crap in it then back then. This is before Heinz kind of came along and provided this alternative, cleaner version of ketchup.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's classified as safe, but you have to have like a certain limit of it in whatever dish you're making. And I think the limit was like about the time, like 10 times the amount, linked to like ADHD and hyperactivity. Yeah, things like that. So you don't want to be in it if you can help it, essentially.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Rather not.
But Mr. Heinz didn't have any of that. He was a stickler for quality and was determined to find a better way than using kind of all this preservatives and shit. Yeah, he believed that you didn't need to use it. There was a ketchup manufacturing way or making way that you could do, that you could carry out without the use of any of these harmful additives. Dr. Harvey Washington Wiley, great name.
Yeah, good name that. Strong.
Yeah, strong name. Like 3 powerful names in a row.
Yeah.
Harvey, Washington, Wiley.
Yeah.
Or Willie.
Ooh. Ooh.
Willie to his friends, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say if you know him, you can call him Dick.
Yeah. So he was a famed chemist and advocate for pure food regulations, and he once said,
Heinz's decision to make ketchup without preservatives was revolutionary. His process utilized ripe tomatoes and a balance of sweetness from sugar and tartness from vinegar, creating a hostile environment for spoilage bacteria.
Oh, we love that.
Right. So you're kind of getting some natural protection and preservative from the vinegar.
from the vinegar.
Just doing it in a non-harmful way.
Yeah, in essence, Heinz just increased the vinegar content. So he increased that content, which essentially acted as a natural preservative. And he used ripe tomatoes, which also provided the necessary acidity. So it was like a bit of a combo. Yeah, and this combo
Mr.
not only
Heinz.
eliminated the need for chemical preservatives, but also produced a ketchup with a balanced taste. Neither
Yeah.
sweet nor tart.
Just right.
Just right.
Goldilocks
Yeah, just right.
ketchup, if you will.
Yeah. Beyond the recipe itself, though, Heinz's choice of packaging played a role in preserving the freshness of his ketchup. In 1882, Henry J. Heinz began patenting what would become the famous ketchup bottle.
Yeah, glass bottle,
Glass. Significant move at the time.
Why? What were they in before that? What are they keeping it in a little fabric pouch?
Drippy
Yeah.
pouch.
Drippy pouch.
A pig's bladder.
Drippy raccoon pouch. A see-through beaver pelt.
Yeah, I wonder what they were. I wonder if it was I wonder if it was plastic at that point.
I don't think it was plastic.
Didn't have plastic then. It probably like wood, maybe like a little wooden jar.
Yeah, or maybe
Maybe.
like a hollowed out moose antler.
Maybe that's a lot of meat to be filling, though, isn't it?
Metal could be in like a little
Oh, a little
aluminium
tin pot.
Little tin
Tin
pots.
pot.
Yeah, copper pot maybe.
Ooh.
So they've come along and they've kind of revolutionised the packaging side of it with this glass bottle.
Yeah, they have. Very significant move. Obviously not just for aesthetic purposes, but also for transparency.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Let them see
customers,
what they're dealing with.
yeah, customers could literally see the product they were buying. It wasn't in a
We've
tin.
got nothing to hide.
Wasn't nothing to hide. Nothing to hide.
And a pop
And
in
the fresh
colour.
and a pop in colour, and the glass itself helped maintain the freshness as well.
I guess also glass is quite sterile, isn't it? Like going back to that preservative thing and not having it spoil. Glass is, when it's steamed, it's nice and clean.
If it was wood before, wood's porous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let
Yeah.
things in.
Yeah, bark in your ketchup. Don't
Yeah.
bark in your ketchup, do you either?
Nobody wants bark in their ketchup now.
Yeah, so very interesting move and a very kind of calculated move as well. So back to Nancy in her article in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. She highlights that Heinz's insistence on transparency, both in ingredients and in packaging, played a role in building trust with consumers. And Heinz's tomato ketchup was advertised as
Blessed relief for mother and the other women in the household.
pretty wild that. I've
Blessed
read that a few
relief.
times. Blessed
Yeah.
relief for mother and the other women in the household. I think it alludes to the lengthy process that it takes to produce tomato ketchup at home.
Or maybe it's like you can just make bland food and then spice it up with my
Yeah.
sauce, you know? You don't have to spend
true as well.
ages making your lovely food. Just make
Yeah.
crap
Takes the
food
thought
and have
out.
this, yeah. You know?
Yeah, just
Maybe.
throw something together, and as long as it's got ketchup with it, it's palatable for the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Miles Dickinson school of thought. Don't enjoy yourself cooking. No, sir, you woman. Sit at home and make bland food and don't dare try and be adventurous.
That isn't,
Right,
that
Miles?
isn't my outlook on women.
That's on his gravestone.
Just
That.
back away.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it could be either of those, to be honest. Like, yeah, like it's a massive faff to make ketchup from scratch, so it's relief from that, or it's kind of just relief from the stress of having to cook something delicious.
Yeah, for sure. But needless to say, Heinz is killing it. And by 1908, just over a quarter of a century after they started kind of selling on the market, sales of Heinz ketchup reached $2.5 million.
Wow,
Which,
let's
you
shame,
go.
can
baby.
imagine, 1908, unprecedented.
Yeah, add inflation to that. We're loving it.
No, you some big boy dollars. And additionally, Heinz deliberately chose the spelling of ketchup, spelled the K-E-T way, for his product as a way to stand out from most of his competitors who preferred the word catsup.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dare to be
So we have
different,
Heinz.
as they say.
Yeah, we have Heinz really to thank for the way that we spell it nowadays.
Wow.
Because if it was to the other people, it wouldn't be that.
Icon.
Icon, yeah.
Absolute bloody icon.
Yeah, and by the kind of like the 20th century, we see ketchup kind of firmly take its place in the culinary world. It wasn't just a sauce anymore. It was kind of the main event. You know, it was a condiment that people reached for. Like you said, it enhanced every meal easily, especially at the time. You know, sriracha isn't knocking about. Hot sauce isn't really knocking about. You're dealing with very lack of condiments, especially like post-war as well, or like during the war. It's not going to be great.
yeah.
This is a quote that we have from E.N. Anderson in a book called Everyone Eats, which kind of sums it up quite well.
By the late 19th century, tomato ketchup was the main type of ketchup in the United States, and the descriptor of tomato was gradually dropped. Cookbooks and restaurants assumed that when ketchup was referred to, it was tomato ketchup. Yeah, so
Wow, it's becoming synonymous.
Exactly.
I like
So
it.
we drop in the whole, mushroom ketchup is not a thing anymore. Oyster ketchup is not a thing anymore. It's just ketchup. And she appeared earlier to give a little quote, but we also have a lovely quote from Julia Child, a famous chef, of course. And she once commented this on ketchup and its universal appeal.
Ketchup is a splendid sauce, liked by all from childhood to old age.
No, that wasn't Julia Child.
She's become a little goblin.
little fucking
the years.
wicked witch.
The years have not been kind to her there.
did I do Julia before?
Yeah, you nailed Julia before.
Oh, was Julia really nice?
Really posh and nice, yeah.
I'll have to do her again. Got to have some
I bet you
consistency.
will. Go on.
Ketchup is a splendid sauce,
There you go.
liked by all from childhood to old age.
Much better, Julia.
There we go.
Nice to see you
Thanks,
yourself
Julia.
again. You've had your Snickers. You're back to yourself.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Julia was possessed for a second.
She loves it, Julia.
She loves it.
She loves it in all forms. As we sail into the 20th and 21st century, ketchup has firmly kind of established its place in the hearts, minds, and refrigerators of people around the globe. It's not all plain sailing. There have been controversies. There's always a moment in an episode where Sean Connery comes out to play.
He does. He makes at least one appearance.
He does. At least every episode. He just comes out to play, and it's just a controversy.
Says hello.
There's been controversies, there's been innovations, and a ketchup war that nearly divided a nation. Let's get into it. Little saucy details of the modern world of ketchup, shall we? So ketchup's dominance in the condiment world is unarguable. Places there, from fast food joints to family kitchens, practically everywhere. But it's not just the classic tomato version getting all the love. You've got more variations in the culinary world than ever. You know, we've seen sriracha ketchup, we've seen mango ketchup, we've seen black cherry ketchup, which I didn't know was a thing. It's adaptable. You can use all sorts of kind of spices and all sorts of other condiments, add them to ketchup. You get a new sauce. Mayo ketchup, special sauce.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bit of paprika, mayo, ketchup, seafood sauce.
Yeah.
Endless ketchup.
It's
everywhere.
like it's not just like a sauce in its own right. It's like also an ingredient that can go into other sauces.
Yeah, a bit of a base,
just like-
if you will.
Just kind of testament to its adaptability. It's kind of
Oof. Adaptability. Yeah. That ties in perfectly with this lovely quote that we've got from the man himself, Gordon Ramsay.
Big man.
Right, listen up. Ketchup's adaptability is a secret weapon, okay? It's managed to stay relevant, okay? By evolving with our palates, okay?
Little clap in there as well.
Come on.
Oh, jeez. That was good. Cheers, Gordo. Love that. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for ketchup. In 2016, Canada found itself in the midst of a ketchup kerfuffle.
God.
Canada always gets itself into
Yeah, it does seem
We've been to Canada a few times on this podcast,
Isn't
and
it?
it's been having some arguments or people falling out, and
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
it's
right.
just so cold. They're just all fucking pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting uggy.
I'd be that annoyed if there was that many French people knocking about. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, so true, mate. That is so true.
Yeah, cold and French. Ugh.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Nothing worse. Oh, God.
Many years ago, Heinz decided it didn't want to pay Canadian farmers and Canadian factory workers a living wage. Big agro and right-wing politicians had enabled them to save a lot of money by exploiting Americans. So, when they announced that they would be shutting down Canadian facilities and moving operations to the US, Canadians were not so happy about it, as you can imagine.
No.
So,
Big industry moving, isn't it?
Taking
A
out
lot,
jobs.
a lot of work.
massive,
Taking out jobs.
massive.
Yeah.
So, competitor of Heinz, French's,
Ah,
who we keep
yeah.
slandering.
French's is the mustard men. Yellow mustard.
That is one of their condiments.
I think
correct?
that's what they're most well known for, is it not?
Well, when Heinz chose to not pay Canadians for their work and move their facility to the US, French's began a PR campaign talking about how their ketchup was made with Canadian-grown tomatoes by Canadian employees and how their profit margins weren't as fat, but it was more important to support Canadians.
Can tomatoes grow in Canada? Ain't it cold and shit there?
You can grow a tomato in England, so you
Yeah,
can
it's
grow
boiling
tomato
here,
in
mate.
Canada.
It's Costa del Sol. Climate change.
There's warm spots in Canada, isn't there?
Is
Yeah,
there?
you just use one of them
Down
fucking
south.
tunnels.
Ah,
don't you?
yeah, little yeah. I know what you mean.
Greenhouse.
Yeah, greenhouse.
Is that what you mean by tunnels?
Nah, they're called tunnels, aren't they? They're called
Yeah, the plasticky ones. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
tunnels.
yeah.
Tunnels. Maybe not tunnels.
If there's any herbologists listening, dial in
Let us
and tell
know.
us what there's.
Herbologists.
Are they not
Yeah.
called like polytunnels?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
Look at that. I didn't even Google that. Straight off the top of my dome.
Yes.
even ChatGPT that.
Hands are here.
So Frenchies have kind of swooped in and been like, look, we're not going to make as much money on ours, but we're going to make it with the Canadian ingredients, and we're going to support Canadian workers.
No, exactly.
Right.
They
That's
saw the gap
interesting.
and they went for it.
Love that.
And kind of soon, the previously kind of almost unheard of French's at the time, French's ketchup at the time, was outselling Heinz 3-1.
Oh, big
Whoa.
win.
Taking a big slice of that market.
Yeah. And Heinz then announced, obviously missing out on all of this sales, shit them up a little bit, that they'd changed their minds and would be reopening their Canadian operations.
The old chestnut.
But it was too late.
Oh.
Before they closed, they were close to around 100% of the market share for ketchup sold in Canada. Now they're around 50%.
Wow. Once
So
burned.
they lost
Shot themselves in the foot.
massively. Well, they tried to do what was right for the profit margin rather than what was the right thing to do.
That's how you get yourself in trouble.
But then wanted to backtrack, like as soon as it worked for them and they thought that they were going to increase profits by reintroducing themselves to that market, that's when they turned up. The ship has already sailed, Heinz.
Yeah.
Capitalism, mate. Capitalism.
Yeah.
And yeah, just to finish on the kind of the Canadian ketchup war, we have some nice words from food historian Ian Mosby, who had this to say on the matter.
The Canadian Ketchup War was about more than just taste. It was about supporting local farmers and making a statement.
Shout out Canadians.
Shout out.
Not the French ones.
Nah, definitely not them.
Nah, I like them all.
No.
Yeah.
They're lovely folk.
Very cool accent.
They're lovely folk.
Yeah.
They're good, eh?
It's a bit average, but
They're good, eh?
good, eh? Cool. So in terms of innovation, earlier we were talking about pre-catch-cum, right?
Yeah.
We've all been betrayed by that first squirt of watery ketchup,
Yeah.
right?
Hateful moment.
Hateful moment. Well, in 2019, a group of students from MIT tackled this age-old problem.
I got stung by it about a week ago, so they didn't.
What ketchup were you using?
It was Heinz, mate.
They've not rolled it out to Heinz yet. This is just like a little group of students. This is like how Facebook started.
Okay, right. Carry on, sorry.
So they developed something called Liquid Glide, which is a non-toxic, non-stick coating for the inside of ketchup bottles, ensuring that ketchup slides out smoothly, leaving no residue behind.
So you don't have that little bit left in the bottle where you're shaking it,
No.
you're wobbling it,
You can't get it out and it's wasted. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we've only got one planet.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
No, definitely. So
But you say we've only got one planet, but then does the liquid glide, whatever it's called, stop it breaking down?
Hopefully
Is it
not.
worse
They said
for the planet
non-toxic.
when you try and get rid of the container?
it's non-toxic, non-stick.
Oh, right.
So, and you can go and have a look on their website. It's very tech broy. Yeah, it's not really like clear what they actually do. There's a lot of like big buzzwords and stuff, but once you actually get into it, you can find out what they're all about, especially on their About Us page, which had this to say.
We're building a frictionless future. Our mission is to revolutionize products, packaging, processes, and patient experiences by eliminating the friction between solids and liquids.
Interesting, they went with patient experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that about?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's like a targeting like health care, like
yeah,
like
maybe.
inside of needles, like
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're all about eliminating the friction between solids and liquids. Getting liquids out of a container.
Yeah,
Into a container.
into a container. Yeah.
Blood packs.
Or packs.
For blood
Yeah.
transfusions.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to leave any of that behind.
Tubing.
The connoisseurs
tubes.
ketchup is what they call that. Let's finish up on ketchup, shall we? So
God.
I wanted to kind of finish our little ketchup journey by, we've already kind of established that ketchup's a super universally loved condiment that is kind of tweaked in all the different cultures around the world, and they've all got kind of their own unique twists and interpretations on it. But some of those kind of interpretations and twists have kind of turned it into something entirely different at times. So I just wanted to go through a few of the kind of countries that I managed to find examples of this, and just kind of just expand your palate to the ketchup world, just to finish us off. So
Let's see what's out there.
firstly, we're flying into the Philippines,
Okay.
and we're looking at banana ketchup.
Oh, God.
What?
No, thank
Yeah.
you.
So in the Philippines, tomato take a backseat and bananas are the star of the show, which is pretty wild because they're not tangy, really, are they? They're not like
No,
no
they're creamy.
creamy. Creamy. They were largely introduced during World War II due to a shortage of tomatoes, and kind of this sweet and spicy, I'm guessing from like chilies or whatever they put in it, and kind of tangy version from vinegar and stuff has kind of become a staple in Filipino household.
Wow. Oh, they have it.
Oh. So we're even seeing the effects of World War II there,
Yeah.
stopping in tomatoes, and then they're kind of forced to use different ingredients, and then you've got new things popping up like bloody banana ketchup.
Yeah, there you have. And Filipino chef Margarita Flores loves it so much. He had this to say.
Banana ketchup embodies the Filipino spirit, resourcefulness, resilient, and always ready for a fiesta. And it's bloody brilliant with some crispy fried chicken. Wow. Okay. I mean, crispy fried chicken, jerk chicken, you've kind of got plantain. That's kind of like banana. I don't know. I'm trying to make just some kind of connections. But banana ketchup is fermented and kind of concentrated down. So actually nothing like plantain. So ignore what I just said.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a solution to this because I'm going to be going to this place soon, and I'll bring us back some banana ketchup,
Okay.
and we can taste it
yes.
live on air.
On air.
Yes.
On air.
Absolutely.
Okay.
On
That's
air.
I'll bring the fried chicken.
Okay.
Dom, you bring a Filipino.
Okay.
Andy, you bring the banana ketchup.
Okay.
And we'll have a right little fiesta.
Yeah, I'll find one.
Right, love it. Cool, so that's the Philippines. We've then got Indonesia, with something called sambal ketchup.
Ooh.
Which again kind of takes traditional inspiration from traditional sambal. Indonesians have their own kind of version, which combines the spicy goodness of chili mixed with kind of the sweet depth of like soy sauce based ketchup. And this commonly referred to as ketchup manis, which is what you were maybe talking about earlier,
Yeah,
Miles?
that's the one. Yeah. That's it.
So that's Indonesian.
You liar. You said it was Thai.
Thought it was Thai.
You big
Yeah,
liar.
I thought it was Thai.
They all look the same smells.
Oh, no, he's in trouble again.
He's in trouble
I've been
again.
sexist, racist, everything.
Oh, you pig.
Yeah, no, he's on.
Nah, he's a nice lad. I promise you, he's a nice lad.
But yeah, so it's a balance of sweet, spicy, and umami, perfect for grilled meats.
Oh,
Put that in
That's
there.
what I normally have it with. The grilled meats.
outrageous.
Outrageous. A bit closer to home, Netherlands and Belgium. You got something called curry ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Curry ketchup.
imagine we've all had before.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, popular with kind of fries, sausages. Curry ketchup is kind of like a thick.
Thwick, it's the Thwick one. It's a Thwick flurry.
It's a thick, sweet, and spicy sauce.
All right, cheers, mate.
It is funny you say that though. Go on.
I was going to say it goes perfectly with fries. That's all I was going to say.
That's all I was gonna say.
Come on, your turn.
Oh no, I was just gonna say my friend Mark, who's Dutch. We went to a Dutch bar once, and he ordered some food, and it was like a big sausage with almost like a stampot. You know, we covered stampot, the kind of mixed vegetable bubble and squeak-esque thing. But that dish had the sausage on top of that, and it had like a curry ketchup on top.
Curry first?
So I think, well, no, it was like a curry ketchup.
Okay.
So I think it's what you were talking about there with this kind of like European version.
Yeah.
Is that nice?
Yeah, it worked really well. I tried a bite.
I tried a bite. Fair enough.
I tried a bite of a stampot.
Yeah, I can't have a nibble in your stampot, lad.
I can't remember. So long ago. Was stampot not soup? Is it not soup-based sausage?
No, stampot is vegetables and like potato, kind of like
Okay, right. So
mashed into like a yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Cool, isn't it?
I was just imagining like some curry ketchup just floating on a bowl of liquid.
Yeah, no, that's not great.
Two different viscosities, just
Yeah, not right.
working against each other. No, but it was nice. It was like a nice sausage, some stampot, and some curry ketchup.
Well,
It's good.
there you go.
There you have it.
The last place I'd like to stop is Japan. And kind of whilst it's not precisely ketchup, it's a very close cousin. And that is tonkatsu. Tonkatsu is kind of like a thick Worcestershire sauce-based sauce, primarily used for kind of like your deep-fried pork cutlets, also known as tonkatsu. Super tangy, super sweet, depth of flavour, and it's got like a blend of kind of like vegetables, fruits and spices in it.
Wow, sounds lovely. A delight.
But yeah, probably one of my favourite dishes, tonkatsu, actually.
Okay.
Went to a place in Kyoto where it was unlimited, the shredded cabbage that you get on the side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you get a big old tonkatsu with the sauce and stuff, and then just keep getting cabbage refills.
I bet
Right?
your farts smelled lovely
good.
the next day.
Oh yeah, horrendous, mate.
Yeah.
Horrendous. I must have eaten like 4 cabbages that day.
Probably got stuck in.
Loads of grilled meat.
Yeah.
4 cabbages.
was like
Just asking for trouble.
I was like a medieval peasant. nothing but cabbage that day. Cool, yeah. So closing thoughts on ketchup. What this journey around the world proves is that ketchup is a canvas. Different countries have painted it with their own cultural brushes, making it an embodiment of their culinary identity. I'd like to end this episode with a cracking quote from Mr. Jay Rayner, who is a food critic, and he sums up the world's favourite condiment quite nicely.
Ketchup is not just a sauce, it's a global phenomenon, a unifier. It bridges cuisines, making us realise we're more connected than we think.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's very wholesome.
It's true though, isn't
Very
it?
wholesome.
Doesn't matter what kind of food you make, what kind of ingredients you're using, ketchup kind of is that universal thing that from time to time everyone enjoys.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can kind of get ketchup in the far reaches of the world.
Yeah.
Similar to like Coca-Cola, it's just one of those things where it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something quite nice about that.
Comforting, you would say.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Ketchup, something that's a staple. It's in our lives. But again, one of those food items that we just don't always know everything about. right under our noses.
Been there all
Just
along.
goes to show that sometimes in life you need to just slow down, take a step back, and think about what you're doing.
Yeah, just see what you see. See what you say what you say.
What is this stuff I put into my mouth all the time?
God.
Yeah.
What is it?
I've been eating this
Who
for
made it?
years. For God's sake.
Cool. Well, there you go. I thoroughly enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, that was good fun, that.
That was really really insightful. I hope you guys did too. It's nice to be back to making episodes regularly, isn't it? Feel like we're back in the swing of things now, and it's feeling good.
Yeah.
Having a good time.
100%.
Learning more about food. We need to cover a drink. I've had the word drink in my intro for quite a while, and we've not covered one yet.
Okay.
So
Any-
maybe there's a drink on the way.
What's your favourite beverage, Miles?
Pina colada.
I knew you were going to say pina colada.
I knew you were going to say it.
All right, look at him.
No. Yeah, we'll have a think on that. Maybe a drink at some point. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did making it. And yeah, if you're enjoying the podcast, please consider rating us. You can rate on Spotify or wherever else you're listening to the podcast. Those ratings really, really help, and they'll help to make us show up on people's feeds, and it might get more people listening, and that would be awesome. Yeah.
Our day jobs. Do us full time.
Yeah.
Us talking in your ear 24/7.
All
That's
day.
it. I mean, these episodes are out every other Monday, but it'd be nice to work to a point where we could be releasing them weekly, perhaps. So the more you guys can help by sharing the good word of the Lord, the better chances of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also if you want to recommend a dish, or you even just want to reach out and chat to us, you can send us an email at whatthefoodpodcast@gmail.com, and we can have a chinwag over there. And I think that is it.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the flip side. We'll see you in 2 weeks from now. Stay safe and see you soon.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.